Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I am Piyu Mukherjee from Prospector Software, and I'm excited to have Hi Tong, our head of application development, with us today. Welcome, Hi.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
The purpose of today's interview is to gain insights into platform reliability and performance, a critical aspect of ensuring that our software solutions are robust, efficient, and dependable. We'll delve into various aspects of platform reliability, including design, monitoring, maintenance, incident management, and future trends. We'll explore the technical aspects and followed by incident management and various collaboration technologies that we use. And before we begin, of course, we would like to have an introduction of Hi. So, Hi, over to you. We would want to know a little bit about you and your career journey and how you came about to this position in perspective.
I've been in software development for 15 years ish now. And I started here at Prospector about 3 years back as a development architect. When I joined Prospector, we were just building the Fuse platform. I think we were in the very, very early stages. And progressively, as I got to know the company got to know me, and taking over the dev teams and leading it to build it and take it to where it is today.
What Hi would you say are your main responsibilities in this role?
Yeah, so I look after the dev team. So we've got a cross-functional dev team of product owners, BAs, developers, as well as QA people who do the testing, both automated and manual testing before anything that goes out of the door. So we have a number of those squads that is continually work to bring new features onto the platform.
And in this journey, Hi, how important is platform reliability in your role?
So when we were first building it, of course, we were focused on getting the MVP out. But as we mature as a product to where we are now, stability and accuracy, I would also add in there, is absolutely critical. So we are a data platform. So any minor impacts to how the platform works has a huge impact to our customers. So reliability, accuracy, and visibility is is the top most important things for us to consider, even when we're bringing in new features. Those considerations always go in and is baked in as part of our development process.
Of course. Um, and within the reliability realm, Hi, what are the features or what are the aspects that you would focus most on?
Right. So there's many ways you can slice that in terms of reliability. When you're saying reliability, what you mean is generally what people mean is uptime, right? But for us, it's a lot more than that. It's not just uptime. So on the MDO platform, what makes it both interesting but also extremely complex is how configurable it is. We have multiple different types of rules. We have multiple different types of workflows, multiple different data sources, and a number of other things that can be ingested. Data can be ingested in any sort of source. So stability isn't just uptime for us. It is actually the reliability of um, processing, the integration, and speed also, because sometimes when something is maybe slightly delayed or slow, it may not look like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it is. So getting visibility around that is also critical. Another part of that is being able to see how a piece of data came to be where it is, right? So that means that any changes on a piece of data we log, and we capture that. um, uh, we capture the process of how a piece of data is changed. So reliability to us is not just system performance or reliability, but understanding how a piece of data gets to where it has to be. So if we were to say introduce a new feature, and it manipulates or changes the data in some way, re- a part of that reliability is thinking, how do we capture it? How do we show it to to the user,
Yeah.
so then they can understand how um, I guess how the data arrived in its current condition is probably the best way to put it. Again, with multiple different processes, rules, etc., that can be quite a challenging task.
Challenging, of course. And I would also possibly think that MDO being in the realm of master data management, platform reliability becomes even more complex, making sure that every piece of data is sort of, reliable, and it is
Yeah,
not
absolutely. Yeah.
compromised in any way.
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, there's security which is baked in for us. So I haven't really emphasized as much on the security. Not that it's not important, but just that it's a baked in layer for us. The complexity comes is, in terms of stability and reliability. There's just many layers that when we're developing, we got to think through these things to ensure that what we're providing as a free platform um, is up to the highest level quality. Hence the challenge around that.
Yeah. When you are designing and developing the software, high, do we use any specific tools or technologies to ensure platform reliability?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I mentioned a little bit about automation testing before. That's absolutely critical for us. So we run the comprehensive regressive tests on both automation and manual testing. Um, we have code monitoring tools, obviously. Again, to catch any sort of code patterns or pick up code patterns which we might think as could be problematic. So we address that up front. Um, and then, of course, we have a platform monitoring tool. So we're built on microservices. So that means that the systems are distributed. So we use New Relic on the back end to monitor and proactively interact, but more importantly, react to events as they happen. So one of our mantras is that we are on the front foot. So we want to know problems before they occur or as they're occurring for our customers, not when they're reported. So as part of that process, we have we actively monitor. So when errors come through or when problems arise, we log that internally, we investigate it. Eventually, the customer may or may not report it, but we deal with that proactively.
Right. You mentioned New Relic. Would you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so New Relic is an industry standard tool. Many large enterprises use it to monitor the health of our system. So that goes for both performance, error tracking, debugging, and also just overall responsiveness of the application. So when you're monitoring something like the MDO platform, again, there are many layers to it. I mentioned before rules and the complexity of a system. So the question is, if there is a process and the process is taking a certain amount of time, The question around that is that process performance or not? Well, the answer is it depends. It depends on the complexity of the rule, because we do have really complex rules which may have multiple steps to it. It could go to 10, 20, 30, 40 steps in one rule. And then on top of that, there can be multiple rules. I've seen customers who have 100, 150, up to 200 rules in a particular process flow. So, if that happens, and a new record is created and it takes 1 or 2 seconds, is that performance? Well, if they have the few hundred rules, then that's we consider that is, because what we do is we monitor each step, and we have benchmark for each step or each rule on how fast that is actually being executed. We benchmark that. We make sure that is always performance, and then looking also at the overall process. And again, if something that looks unusual, then we take proactive steps in terms of our support to the customer, but also internally on how we can improve that. Um, the other thing I mentioned about performance is we're always fine tuning our system. So, again, with a microservice system, um, there's all sorts of fine tuning that can be done, right? So there could be bottlenecks in memory, CPU, storage, etc. So fine tuning every single microservice, so then they're always performing at the most optimal level, is an ongoing process. So we have a team that looks at that, and basically benchmarks it on a regular basis. But um, this fine tuning really is quite, let's say, region sensitive, right? So if you have multiple customers who heavily uses rules, which may lean more on one end, and a customer who might be uh, storing a lot of data might be leaning towards another end. So it's a fine balance where we're always looking across region, to see how our servers and our services are performing, and then fine tuning that. So again, it's an ongoing process where there's no hard and fast fixed rule that we apply or keep to ourselves.
Yeah. Region specific, industry specific. I guess there are a lot of ways in which we can, benchmark and figure out what is the best way forward. But hi, tell me, when we are fine tuning and we are doing maintenance, when we are, installing a new update on the platform, how do we ensure that it is not impacting the reliability of the platform?
Yeah, so the most important part of our release process is our QA processes. Um, uh, we go through multiple gates in QA. So let's say we were to release a new feature, or even defect fixing for that case. We go through a 2 steps of manual testing. Okay, so it's testing in isolation to make sure that the feature or the particular defect is actually um, uh, performing or behaving the way that we expected. Then we go through a process of testing it on our regression servers to make sure that it works with that it has no impact on the existing platform, and that is more of an integrated UAT type testing. Uh, and then lastly, we run automation again in two steps. Again, automation on our regression servers and automation on our pre-release servers, which we call internally sandbox. So uh, that is to capture uh, any problems that may arise in our scenarios. And because of that, like our customers, they can configure, like it's a platform, so it can be configured in any way. So having we have to have those steps. Otherwise, it's actually quite difficult to pick up how our customer might configure the system and how the impacts might come out the other end. And as part of our gates, nothing goes out until we thoroughly test it. So that is a very important part of our process. But as with any platform, we're continually improving on our processes and our coverage, etc.
Yeah. Um, Tell me, Hi, in spite of all the checks and all the gates that we have put, have you, in your experience, ever encountered any incident where the reliability was compromised? And if there was an incident, how was it managed?
Yeah, with software, everyone makes mistakes. So do we. We're not the exception. We are industry standard rule, for better or for worse. I mean, we saw recently CrowdStrike taking out the whole world.
Of course.
Um, so we're not immune to that. But we have a very stringent process where when we do get a regression, or if we do get any sort of impact, we go through a stringent internal review process. So that's both identification, rectification, and policy or process improvement, implementation, change management, because any changes in the process, you have to have some change management, and then making sure that internally that is sticky. Because processes is hard. Processes is there to help maintain the level of quality in which we put into our team, and ensure that our teams are compliant. And so, changes in process, but also making it, I call it sticky. Make sure that that level is actually maintained, and
Yeah.
monitor on those changes as well. So there is a bit of a system process and a bit of a people process that is involved when these things happen, because they are major to us, whether the customer thinks or see that as a major issue or not. To us, that is major if we get these types of incidents. So there's lots of things that happen where we may something may slip through. It may not be noticeable, but we see it, and we don't take any of these things lightly if they become a regression issue, especially.
Moving on, Hi. What emerging future trends or technologies do you see impacting MDO's platform reliability in near future?
Um, I wouldn't say seeing things that are impacting on reliability. I think as the system gets matures, and there are more moving parts, there are more features, there are more the processes get the development process becomes more. Um, um, I guess complex, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's more interacting systems, there are more processes,
Mm-hmm.
more configurations that our customers can do. So, and we address that mostly through our automation suite, both our testing suite, unit testing, our boundary testing. So that's contract handshake tests. Our automated test comes into play to pick up those errors, right? Um, and so that's one of the things I see is I would say challenging, but we have to be vigilant in that
Mm-hmm.
area to ensure that reliability. Um, the other thing that I might see as an impact to reliability is the introduction of our AI features. So we're looking for that in our upcoming quarter or two. And with AI, it's not so much reliability, but the perception of reliability is what I'll term it, because what you feed into it or what you train it to do is not necessarily 100% what you would expect it to tell you or expect it when you're asking the question, right? So the perception of reliability in that case is actually really important because master data is not your regular, chat situation or your regular image generation process, which is what is mostly used right now, right? Or even a query generation where you just ask a question, it gives it, and then you go through a whole validation process, and it's more end user type thing. But on a heavy master data system, and that's why we've put a lot of thought into it and in developing it and ensuring reliability and quality into it, is that with AI, it's inherently unreliable. And to get it to a point where it's reliable and usable and giving great results is definitely a big challenge for us, which we're thinking through right now.
Thank you so much, Hai. I think we have gained a lot of insight into what Prospecta is doing to ensure customer centricity as well as platform reliability while we go about our platform development process. With that in mind, I come to the end of our talk today. Any closing remarks, Hai?
No, it was a pleasure to speak to you. I'm glad to be able to elaborate a little bit more on how we deal with reliability, and especially I love talking about technology. So I'm quite happy to have these types of conversations whenever.
Thank you so much, Hai. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this conversation.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.